It's true. 10 years from now, nobody is going to care if you can draw the mechanism of the Fischer esterification. Welcome, OChemNinjas. Whether the semester's about to begin or you're halfway through and things are starting to get a little bit real, you might be asking yourself a question. Why do I have to take OChem? I'm a PreMed. I am not going to need organic chemistry as a doctor. Now, there are ways I could try and convince you that you really do need organic chemistry as a doctor, but you're right. When you're a physician, you're not going to go into the patient room, say hello to the patient, and say, "So, tell me what's going on with your hydrohalogenation of an alkene." You're not going to call a patient in your office and tell them, "Look, I have your test results back. Before we go over them, I need to explain SN2 reactions to you." It's true. 10 years from now, nobody is going to care if you can draw the mechanism of the Fischer esterification. So why are you here? Why is organic chemistry still a required course for med school? And even if med school is not in your future, whatever your career plans are, dentistry, veterinary school, pharmacy school, it doesn't really matter. You're probably still wrestling with these same questions. So let me share with you what I tell my organic chemistry students, and maybe this will make a little more sense to you. When I sit back and I look at the skills needed for organic chemistry, what you need to conquer to be an OChemNinja, I come up with 3 broad skills that you need. First, there is a lot of book learning that goes into organic chemistry. If you're halfway through the semester, you've probably realized that by now. There's a lot of nomenclature, IUPAC nomenclature, RNS stereocenters. There's a lot of terms and definitions that you need to parse out, constitutional isomers, conformational isomers, and there's a lot of classifications, electrophilic addition reactions, SN2 reactions, aromaticity, nucleophilic acyl substitution. There's lots of these book learning tools that you need to succeed in organic chemistry. By the way, if you need help with any of those topics, I have videos that I'll link to down below where you can up your ninja level skills in those areas. Second, a lot of times in this course, you need to make some tough decisions based on sometimes conflicting data. If you've gotten to the substitution eliminations unit, then you know that a lot of these reactions just start to look the same over time, and seemingly changing one small part of the reaction condition completely changes the course of the reaction. And sure, sometimes all of the evidence points in one direction, but sometimes the evidence is completely contradictory, and we still have to decide which pathway is the right one, and draw the correct product. And this gets even more complicated when you get to spectroscopy. Mass spec, IR, proton NMR, carbon NMR, they all start to blur together. Sometimes it says that it has to be this one functional group, but another spectrum says it can't be that functional group, and how are we supposed to know what the actual structure is supposed to be? This is hard stuff. This is some of the most challenging units in the entire course. And yet, I know that you have the capability of being a true OChemNinja and conquering these topics. Finally, we do a lot of hands-on work in the lab. Extractions, distillations, which layer do I keep? Do I need a drying agent? Which one's the organic phase? How do I know where my product is? What's a crystallization? And at the end of the day, you still have one task. Predict the product of this reaction. If I were to take all of the complaints I hear from my students over time, I could sort them into these 3 general bins for organic chemistry. All right, so clearly I'm leading somewhere. How does this help us answer the question, why do I need to be in organic chemistry? Well, when I sit down and I write out the skills that I think a physician needs to be an MDNinja, I think about the first couple years of med school, and there is a lot of book learning in the first couple years of med school. There's a lot of new names, a lot of new terms and definitions, a lot of new classifications, diseases, medicines. You need to make a lot of tough decisions based on conflicting data. A patient is going to come to you with these symptoms that don't seem to make any sense, and they point in different directions, and they're still going to need you to come up with a diagnosis and a treatment plan. You may get to the point where the only thing you have in front of you is an X-ray and a blood test, and you still need to make a determination about what the diagnosis and treatment plan is going to be from those spectra. And there's a lot of hands-on work that goes into being a physician. You're going to be taking vital signs, doing head-to-toe exam, testing range of motion, and at the end of the day, you still have one task: diagnose and treat your patients. So why are you here? Why do med schools still make this a required course? Because in a lot of ways, we're really training you on the skills you need to be a successful physician. I will concede that these actual skills you won't really ever see again after you leave this course, but the soft skills behind them, those are critically important. So in a weird, maybe perverse way, your success in organic chemistry is a good proxy for the prediction of your success in med school. If you can handle all the book learning in organic chemistry, if you can hold your own in the lab, and especially if you can learn how to make complicated decisions based on conflicting data, you probably have the underlying skill set you need to be a successful physician. So that, in my opinion, is why med schools require you to be here. And I gotta tell you what, I am so glad you're here. I am so glad we get to hang out together. It tells me that you want to be on the path to being an OChemNinja, and that you have the motivation you need to be that MDNinja. So, stick with it. You're gonna be all right. When it gets really tough, remember this motivational speech. And just remember, we're not really learning organic chemistry right now. We are learning the skills that you need to be a successful physician in the future. Have a great day, ninjas.
Thanks for training with us today, ninjas. Check out this other content to see if you can level up even further. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe.